Hi, listeners. I'm Carolina.
And I'm Tessa. And together we are Femme Regard Podcast.
Femme. We are a show dedicated to educating and entertaining underdeveloped filmmakers and film enthusiasts alike.
We love sharing our experiences as filmmakers, what we've learned and what we've gone through.
And we love bringing on professional industry guests.
We want our listeners to learn from the best and get an honest account of the biz.
So come join the Femme Fam and give us a listen every Friday.
Streaming on all the major podcast platforms, including YouTube and our website, femregard.com. And of course, the Geekscape Network.
We're making an ad.
Napping ad.
This is where I think if we're doing it right, Alec Baldwin comes in. He says a couple things. He listens to the podcast every week.
Yep.
Has he been canceled? Wait, is Alec Baldwin the one who killed somebody? I hear that Gary Sinise is free.
Oh, okay, great.
He hasn't worked since 2020.
So, what would be the script that we would have Gary Sinise say for the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast?
Listen to this damn show. Damn it.
The Napping Through Happy Hour podcast brought to you by Geekscape.
Real life, real drama, real time.
I'm Gary Sinise.
That's the ad. That's the ad. That's the ad.
Everybody, we're back with another listener-submitted episode of Horror Movie Night this week, and this one we're talking about is Blue Monkey, that funky monkey.
You got it.
And here's the.
I knew you were going to do it.
And here's the email we got. It said, "I hope this email finds you well. Congratulations on 9 years of entertaining, yet sometimes incoherent ramblings. We aspire to have an audience of thousands like yours. Currently, we have nearly 30 listeners who choose to tune in to our podcast instead of taking care of more pressing matters. Perhaps in 45 years, we'll catch up to your download numbers. We've heard that you're doing Listener Submit It Month, and we at Analog Jones and the Temple of Film would like to participate by providing choices. And they provided one from each one of them. We'll just jump to the one that we ended up picking. And it was, Steven still hasn't watched a few of the VHS tapes that he got at the convention where he first met Matt and Scott in person in Monster Mania of 2017. He's having a hard time deciding. He's having a hard time deciding between two of the movies, The Birds 2: Land's Ending, or Blue Monkey.
No, you picked wrong.
After learning that Blue Monkey is actually a Canadian horror film that doesn't actually feature a blue monkey, he decided to select it. He also refuses to ever watch it until his friends choose it, since apparently there's some giant bug movie that, again, has no blue monkey. Again, we wish you the best and congrats on 9 years. Please consider our submission and make the right decision. But seriously, congrats. We love you. You degenerate gatekeepers of horror." And that was from Stephen, Chris, and Brad of Analog Jones and the Temple of Film. I will throw out there that Brad had selected Silver Bullet, which we had already done with Stephen Bay.
Yeah.
And Chris had selected Meatball Machine from 2005.
No. Dude, I tried. I tried to watch it. I've considered like Tokyo Gore Police, and it's not. I don't foresee us doing something like that. And
they're
it's
just
not
too mean and very, very rapey.
Yeah. So Blue Monkey was the choice here, and we love them boys over at
the boys
and like Joanne. So this is exciting.
I'm very excited that Kyle is about to do this like breakdown of this movie. Well, beyond that, I want to shout out.
I'm not confused here, Scott. I'm hoping to follow along with my own writing.
So the plot description on Wikipedia for Blue Monkey is 6 paragraphs long. I just want to read the 6th paragraph because you'll notice something having recently watched the movie. The 6th paragraph says, Elliot Jacob arrives and he, Rachel, and Jim survey the carnage. Elliot is horrified when he discovers that the bluish powder that the children fed the insect was a growth hormone. Now the insect is giant and could be anywhere. Turns out the insect is in the utility tunnels underneath the hospital, where the creature kills a hapless janitor and then begins building a nest for its brood. Rachel, Jim, and Elliot figure out how to stop the insect, while Judith deals with the consequences of the disease that the creature has spread throughout the building before the military, summoned by New York's Lincoln Institute, take drastic measures and destroy the facility.
That's in the first third of the movie, and that's the last paragraph?
The chronology of the Wikipedia is awful.
and they're not wrong. I understand that is the last story beat that happens, really, but that is chaotic. As is this movie. Okay, all right. I don't feel so bad because I was like, I don't know if I summed up this quite enough, but there are a lot of things that happen. Scott, please.
Are you thirsty?
You know it.
What are you rocking today?
I'm just rocking one from Bank and Bridge Brewing Company called Monkey with 2 E's because I was going to do...
Copywritten by the Monkeys?
And no, it's just a singular one. I don't know what... I actually literally don't know what the deal is. On the can, for those who are not on the Patreon, which you should be... Well, I'm not even going to tell you what's on the can. But it is 2 E's, and it's a Kolsch. Maybe you should think about what you've done and join the Patreon.
Yes, and if you have joined the Patreon, we love you. I made myself some monkey tonic, blue monkey tonic.
Yes!
Now, to be fair, this is blue blendo. It's not actually blue, but because I don't have blue curacao in this house because
you don't want it anyway.
No. But literally, there's like a blue monkey. There are a bunch of blue monkey drinks, and there are a lot of blue drinks, cocktails, and they all have blue curacao in them. And so I don't roll that way, but I did have blue blendo. What I made was a gin and tonic. I bought these gummy bears because there's a big blue gummy bear on the outside of it, and they're multicolored, obviously, or they're sour bears, Sour Blast Buddies from Smart Sweets.
Buddies.
Because they can't say gummy bears, I guess. But I dumped the 4 blue ones in, and now it is an incredibly sour gin and tonic, and I call it the monkey tonic.
Yeah, and do we like it? Are we just dealing with it?
I don't hate it. It's not as bad as the red, white, and berry Smirnoff from a couple weeks ago.
That was brutal.
Yeah, so Kyle, try to explain this movie to us.
It's a hell of a night in some podunk hospital when Detective Jim Bishop, who previously portrayed Charles Manson and then would later on portray Ed Gein. So this dude has a look. He brings his wounded police officer partner to the hospital. The doctors put him next to an old man who is also having some ailments, but this hospital has never dealt with such things, and they focus primarily on the gunshot victim as this old man in the next bed spits up a bug larva. So priorities are weird here. And there's strange happenings all around. Nobody's making the right choice. But what's even stranger about this podunk hospital, to me, is that even though they don't know what the fuck's going on, there's a whole molecular laboratory in the basement of the hospital that seems bigger than the hospital building itself.
It's like a very House of Leaves type thing.
It feels like an elementary school sized hospital building, and then somehow underneath we have these nuclear reactors that are just... I don't think anybody knows how to use, but they're there. No.
I want to call out an amazing line that happens very early in this movie where we meet the cop that is our hero in this movie, and he's standing in the hospital, and if you recall in the description I read, they mentioned the children. There's a ton of children that are in this hospital.
I call them the leukemia lot or the cancer kids, both spelled with a K.
But how does that have anything to do with the fucking girl with the neck brace? Because she's my favorite character in this movie.
But there's a scene where one of the kids says to the police officer, "Why are you in the hospital?" And he said, "My partner got shot. How about you?" And he just goes, "Got leukemia," and then just like scampers off.
I really wish you would have been like, "Got any games on your phone?" You know, like
yeah. In the remake,
Can I play Roblox? Bye.
So the doctors finally turn their attention to this big larva in this old dude's mouth, and I think he's still alive. It's kind of hard to say. His wife's
does
there.
die later.
He does die later, but I thought he was dead until he came back to die later, so I was a little confused.
I want to throw this out there real quick as an interesting question, though. How did all of you watch this movie?
Tubi.
Okay. I had a VHS PS copy.
Nice. Okay.
And I think I regret it. I don't know if your copy was much better.
Ours was great.
But like,
ours was really
mine was... That VHS copy was almost just blacks and blues. Like, I could not make out this creature once throughout the entire movie.
That's a bummer, because I do think that the creature was satisfying when the time came, which felt like the last maybe quarter of the movie, right? Like maybe third of the movie, but it was, and I mean, but there was moments where it was blacks and blues a lot through this movie. You know, we're in these tunnels, we're in this basement, we're obscuring the monster, but once this monster, the monster does run wild in the hospital, but to get there, we have to deal with this bug larva. This monster grows from a bug larva that comes out of this dude's throat, Old Man Jenkins's throat. And guess what? It's fucking weird. So instead of having anybody do anything with this bug, they give it to a busty blonde to say, watch this. To then, in which 10 minutes later, she's making out with a dude. They're not paying attention to this bug larva at all. The cancer crew rolls through to do their own science experiments because they're bored and nobody's dealing with their cancer at all. So they decide to feed, as you read in the last paragraph of the Wikipedia, which happens maybe 30 minutes in, they feed the bug, which there was not said that it was a growth hormone. I swear to God, that did not.
No, they said there's a growth hormone later
on. Did they?
On.
Okay.
Yes, there's a moment.
I missed that part. I was long gone at this point in time, but they do their own science experiments, and they feed the bug, and now we're fucked. But they don't care about future generations. Unfortunately, nobody cares about them. So the doctors call in an entomologist, which they just have on speed dial. This entomologist is a fucking freak. He loves bugs.
That guy's great. He's like, you want some lemonade in his bug fridge? Great.
Best character.
Love that guy.
Best character. He loves bugs. He wants to get involved. He wants to figure out what's going on. It's like, I almost wish that he came back for that scene in Silence of the Lambs where they're looking at the moth larva. I kind of wish it would have added some levity to Silence of the Lambs. But
that's what they were looking for in that movie.
That's what they really needed, besides Big Fat Person, and then just a little levity in the fucking, shit gets so bad that the National Guard gets called, and that's the quickest the National Guard has ever responded to literally anything in their lives.
I want to believe that the National Guard fucking shooting a guy to death who's trying to escape a hospital is where my suspension of disbelief broke, because I could handle giant praying mantis monster, but I can't handle that. But then I remember I live in Northeastern Ohio, and the Kent State Massacre happened when my mom was there. So actually,
it's not
the most realistic thing that happens in this movie.
I was. If you didn't say that, I was going to reference that immediately. I was like, Scott, you're really nearby. But yes, I mean, shit gets so bad. They're killing people who escape. They're sending people in hazmat suits to deliver the news. And the hazmat suit walks directly by two completely exposed soldiers who are opening the door for the hazmat suit. No,
is that one of the guys that later on is like, hey, is anybody in here? And then he gets eaten by the bug? Is that one of those guys?
It has to be. It has to be. It's like, there's the lack of communication is a little concerning.
Well, they didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
Think about how much shorter this movie would have been if they had cell phones.
If they had cell phones, and the National Guard would still have responded slower. I don't know, somehow. But that was probably my favorite part of the movie, to be honest with you. I mean, I know we are talking about that there is a large bug, full praying mantis, laying 500 to 600 eggs that are going to just take over this hospital. And Detective Bishop, the doctor whose name I'm so sorry I don't remember. The poster of this movie that I love has multiple nurses running away.
Are any of them actually in the movie? Because I don't recognize them.
None of them. None of these women who are behind me running away from the mantis like I am are in this movie, but nobody quite knows what's going on. Nobody even knows that maybe they work in this hospital. It's a little confusing. They think that maybe it's an urgent care. Yeah. But a Mr. Magoo-ass janitor is in the basement, and he finds giant sacks hanging from the rafters, I guess. I don't know. And this is where shit starts to turn up, at least visually, for
Dude,
Blue
the
Monkey.
faces rubbing across those egg sacs.
It was Chuck Russell blob level effect here with these giant sacks. It was very, very cool. There are live humans in these sacks ready to be devoured by this mantis, who is, like I said, laying eggs left and right. We're going to have 500, 600 of these bugs running around. We do get a debrief on this in an office upstairs, as the National Guard calls the head of the hospital, who is an actor who is very familiar, whose name is escaping me.
Oh, the doctor who does not want there to be a panic?
Yeah,
it's John Vernon.
John
Vernon, who literally, I feel like at this point in his career, and maybe all of his career, just only got cast as evil, corrupt business people or cops.
Killer Clowns, Animal House, Curtains.
Yep.
He's the guy.
I feel like he has the voice for it and the look for it. And then you have someone like Clancy Brown who has the voice for it, but he's also handsome, like ruggedly handsome. And so his trajectory is like, I can sometimes be a dad, in movies. So
yeah, no, this guy can't, because like when I think of this guy, every time I see him, he can be an abusive dad. Every time I see him, the first thing that comes to my mind is just like, what does he say? He goes, "You can let them make a dummy out of you, but they're never gonna make a dummy out of me."
That's right.
Like he's just got this very grizzled voice. Like he's just
his
so
character
weird.
Has morals, and he will not let anybody destroy those things. Not even Blue Monkey, which is not okay. As we've gotten to the point. Please fix this. The leukemia lot is running around this hospital. Nobody cares about them. I actually wonder if they're ghosts. I wonder if those kids are not real. Maybe this hospital used to be a children's hospital and has since converted, and these kids are just fucking ghosts. But basically they're wandering around after hours in the midst of this confusion, which I would say, even though we're having the storyline of the National Guard, like, quarantining this hospital, nobody inside except this small group of staff has been informed of such. Nobody else seems to really be all that concerned with the hospital right now.
Oh, we forgot to explain why they're quarantined. It's because people are getting sick.
Yes,
because there's the killer bug, but then there's also some sort of infection. Like, is it bacterial?
And they're not sure if they are coinciding or not.
Yes,
and to be honest with you, I have not discovered or figured that out either.
No, I've watched this movie twice and I still don't know.
And I don't really know. I think they're kind of alluding to the bug, but not. I don't really know. But the kids go out after hours and they're exploring the hospital, which I guess they do every night, Pinky. And they think that they're making up stories, and they're like, something along the lines of, I heard there was a blue monkey, or I'm looking for a blue monkey. Like they're imagining something of a monster or of a blue monkey.
But like, what an insane thing to pull the entire title of a movie
I think
from.
that it was trying to do like a Blue Harvest thing, which was the working title for Star Wars. And they're trying to make a little jab, but to be completely fair to them, its alternative title is Insect.
So there,
a more accurate title.
It's definitely more accurate. We were just talking last week about. I would say we were confusing poster art and getting it kind of confused. And Forbidden World had the alternate title Mutant, and maybe Mutant would have served its purpose, maybe not. I don't know if Insect would have done the thing that we were supposed to do.
Yeah, I don't want to take a potential double feature off the board, but dear God, this movie had a lot in common with Forbidden World. The more that we watched it, it's like it's very similar in like pacing, character, plot, like
goo level,
lots
of goo.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, this is one of those movies where, and we stumble upon these movies every once in a while, and I weirdly feel like I always have them on DVD from VHS-PS specifically. But there's like this brand of movie where I don't know if it's like a recommendation level movie for me, but it is like one of those movies where like I'm having fun when I'm watching it.
Yeah.
But I'm also just completely confused. And then I'm like, because it's so confusing, I don't retain anything. So the movie just dumps out of my brain until the next time I'm watching it. Like a prime example of a movie that I can think of similar to that has like no plot similarity is like The Boneyard. Right? Like The Boneyard is so much fun. I barely remember anything that happened in it. And I will forget everything that happened in it until I put it on again. And then I'm like, hey, Phyllis Diller turns into a giant mutant in this movie. That's great. Like, it's like,
now,
there's
you should
just
probably stop talking because you're just giving me more ammunition for double features because this is all great.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I will say that some website that is no longer around, so I couldn't find out what the other 6 titles were, called the horrorfreaknews.com, placed this on the list of 7 underappreciated horror movies that you can only find on VHS. And I would have loved to have known what the other 6
what the
were,
other ones were.
but it's gone.
I
It's
bet
gone
that one of them was
forever.
Fright Night Part 2.
Probably. But yeah, I mean, the movie goes off the rails, but goddamn if that final rampage through the hospital is not like
that's
rewarding.
literally all I have from here on out. You know, I kind of overdid it compared to the Wikipedia here. You know, I say,
yeah, you took us to the end of the movie.
Yeah, eggs hatch. Mama bug is out for blood, just decapitating old people. The bug is now moved from the basement up to the top because it's chasing Detective Jim Bishop because it smells like its mate or whatever.
Yes.
But thank God this hospital's molecular lab and laser room exist where we spend a lot of time screaming before we finally neutralize the bug because the bug is a praying mantis, so armored, so strong, so protected, except for its little eyeballs, to which finally, after quite a few attempts of being really close to the eyes, this laser shoots through the eyeballs, brains explode. We return the next morning, and nobody gives a fuck that this happened at all.
They all
and
saw
it's
the giant bug. It's not like there are 2 separate movies. You know,
it is not like in no repair crew. Nobody's closing the hospital. Hospital's still in the works. It's just the craziest episode of Grey's Anatomy I've ever seen. And that's Blue Monkey.
and the
again,
explanation of the way that
Yes.
they cured the infection was to get them fucking drunk. So luckily, none of the cancer kids.
Thank you.
The cancer crew. What was it? Leukemia lot and cancer crew.
Cancer kids. Leukemia lot.
Somehow their bodies were not infected, thankfully, or else we would have drunk kids in this movie, which would be hilarious. But
it's a really silly and fun subplot that really only appears like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit. It's not levity. It would be in a more serious movie, but this doesn't have or need that. But it is still there. It's kind of it's odd.
Yeah, drunk grannies.
This is one of the weirdest movies to actually. I feel like this is one of the strangest movies we've ever had to even like. If we had to like categorize a movie that we discussed, this one is like all over the goddamn.
All over the place. All over the place. But I had a lot of fun with it. You know, it was as you said, Matt. I mean. Besides writing down these notes, I'm not sure there's much that I would retain and I would not recommend. But I did not have fun watching it. It's like going for a hike. It's like you can't come back and be like, this hike was the best fucking hike. I mean, I guess you can.
Mad about hikes. He hates hikes.
I guess I mean like normal ass hikes, like, you know, leisure hikes.
Hi, listeners. I'm Carolina.
And I'm Tessa. And together we are Femme Regard Podcast.
Femme. We are a show dedicated to educating and entertaining underdeveloped filmmakers and film enthusiasts alike.
We love sharing our experiences as filmmakers, what we've learned and what we've gone through.
And we love bringing on professional industry guests.
We want our listeners to learn from the best and get an honest account of the biz.
So come join the Femme Fam and give us a listen every Friday.
Streaming on all the major podcast platforms, including YouTube and our website, femregard.com, and of course, the Geekscape Network.
We're making an ad.
Napping ad.
This is where I think if we're doing it right, Alec Baldwin comes in. He says a couple things. He listens to the podcast every week. Has he been canceled? Wait, is Alec Baldwin the one who killed somebody? I hear that Gary Sinise is free.
Oh, okay, great.
He hasn't worked since 2020.
So, what would be the script that we would have Gary Sinise say for the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast?
Listen, to this damn show. Damn it.
The Napping Through Happy Hour podcast brought to you by Geekscape.
Real life, real drama, real time.
I'm Gary Sinise.
That's the ad. That's the ad. That's the ad.
Here it is, guys. Welcome to my hometown's video store.
Sweet, I didn't even know these still existed.
Well, they haven't had a new release since like 2004, but it's still standing. Why don't you guys look around and rent something? It's on me.
Okay, I'm done.
What?
I got the best of 1987, RoboCop, Lethal Weapon, and Predator.
Predator's good, but Predator 2 is better.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, all those old action films, the sequels are better. RoboCop 2, Predator 2, Highlander 2.
Can't argue with Highlander 2.
Do they have any anime?
Yep, if you look, it's right over there.
That's like 5 tapes.
Yeah, welcome to the Midwest.
Steve, what are you renting?
I'll probably rent some bad sci-fi. Maybe something with Will Smith.
Nice. Get some Tim Burton Planet of the Apes while you're at it.
Isn't that the one where you wanted to bang the girl monkey?
Welcome to Analog Jones in the Temple of Film. I'm Steve.
I'm Chris.
I'm Brad.
We are a VHS podcast that breaks down the box art, trailers, and behind the scenes. Do you miss the old days before the internet when you only talked about the films you watched with your friends? We watch these old tapes and look for cool trailers, bizarre promos, and break them down for your entertainment.
If you like sweaty action movies, crappy sci-fi, or schlocky horror films and hate reading, listen to Analog Jones.
Sometimes we even do research and get our facts right on these old movies.
Even if we don't, it's on the internet. It's facts now.
So search for Analog Jones and find us at Anything That Plays podcast.
All right, so diving into double features. Scott, you said you got plenty of ammunition because of this discussion. What are you going to pick?
I mean, I feel so uncool now because you already mentioned Killer Clowns, and it wasn't because of the guy being in both. It was because of the bodies in the bags. They just look like
I may have also written down Killer Clowns for those exact same two reasons, but you take it.
I'm sorry. But I mean, hey, have the Boneyard as your double feature because they really feel like they could be the same movie. They're in the same place.
No, I'm literally going to go with last week's movie, Forbidden World. It hits all the same plot beats. And Kyle.
Yeah. I just kind of want to keep hanging out in a hospital. I'm going to do X-Ray or Hospital Massacre. It's not
Can of Red.
It's not the same content, but being in a hospital and being weird and sleazy and kind of
a lot more boobies in that movie.
A lot more boobies, and it's also kind of forgettable. I'm saying that, but I don't really remember what happens, so I'd like to just revisit it.
It's a Valentine's Day movie.
Yeah. I remember having a lot of fun watching it when I watched it. I think it'll be great. It'll be fun.
Real quick for the pop culture promos, I'm on the wrong show. For our what's going on stuff.
What do you mean you do another podcast, Matt?
Going out behind our back.
We got the scare packages are coming October 1st, so get ready. HMNpodcast.com is the only place where you can get a $25 scare package where you'll get a shirt of your size and also some goodies from our collection of goodies, basically enamel pins, stickers, etc. And that the Skate or Die Film Festival is happening in Pottstown also that same week. So early October, we got some good stuff coming to you from Horror Movie Night. Guys, we have a pretty much of a hard out on this recording, so let's speed run our What Did I Watch, Read, Listen To. I'm going to throw out a book that was recommended to me by Scott's wife, Megan, called The Dead Romantics. I read it too. Yep, it was a very... Actually, I'll tell you Megan's review of it in a second in relation to you. But it was a ghost romance novel that was fun with lots of twists and turns. I mean, it's a romance novel, so there's no real twists. You kind of know where everything's going, but it was still fun. And yeah, Megan's review was, Scott read it and he said it was good, which is like a 5-star review from Scott.
Man, I'll tell you what. I have two things that I forgot that I'm gonna tell you the one for real that I read, but the one that I read right before this was the Kaiju Preservation Society. I bought it on a whim at a bookstore. It's a modern sci-fi-esque book. I think it came out in 2022. But I gave it 2 stars on Goodreads, and I literally I actually wrote a review because I never write reviews. And my review was, for a guy who writes a book about kaiju, he doesn't spend any time actually explaining kaiju, what the kaiju look like, which drove me fucking nuts. But I did enjoy Meg, otherwise known as The Meg.
That's the book that The Meg is based on.
Yeah.
It's shit.
Surprisingly different. And it's still bombastic, but
Jason Statham doesn't punch a shark in the face.
No. I mean, I loved The Meg, and Meg 2 was great too. But this book was actually, it had enough differential between it and the film that I wasn't bored reading it. It was a very short, like 200, it's not even 200 pages. I think it was like 203 pages. Awesome. Real fun.
Definitely got to grab
And
that.
I also love that the Los Angeles Times, 2 words, Jurassic Shark.
That incredible back cover. That's amazing.
I got that for $1 at the thrift store, like in the beginning of the summer. And I wanted to end the summer and our beach horror summer, staying out of the damn water.
Yeah. You got
Listen,
another year before you consider going back in the water.
Yes.
To which we need to remind you, Scott, don't do it.
Don't do it. And guys, I'm very excited to announce that we're 4 years away from when we could do The Meg as one of our summer movies. So like,
holy shit.
yeah, so that's
not that long.
2018.
We will be
I
doing
am
it.
fucking stoked. All right, Kyle.
Because it's not out yet, and I can't speak too much about it, / don't want to speak too much about it because there's not a way for people to get satisfied by what I'm trying to say here. The Only Ones by our friend Jordan Miller exists. It exists. We were lucky enough to see it as a sneak preview test screening at Creature Feature Weekend. He has then shared with us the screener for the flick. So I took a deep dive. I think we actually all took a peek, but I'm going to take the reins on here and say that Jordan is such an intelligent director and really is influenced and wears his heart on his sleeve of those influences without doing the same thing over and over again. I was really impressed by the way that took some slasher tropes, took some like sort of relational drama tropes, took some like silly shit like somebody on shrooms, like took all these things that we've seen as tropes throughout horror films, put them into a blender, blended up, made it his own, made it look really beautiful, and had these characters and these actors that you end up giving a shit about at some point in time, even though like on paper it is a group of friends go to a cabin in the woods. Like he kind of took that general concept and made it his own, and I'm really appreciative. I think Jordan has a really fresh voice, has a really keen eye, and The Only Ones seems like just the beginning of that from our friend Jordan over at you might know him from Camp Nightmare, but as you will soon know him as the director of The Only Ones, and as somebody to keep an eye out for. He's one of us, and it's really special to see somebody who has practiced the craft, honed it, made his thing, made it independently, and is out there doing it. So I don't have any more information about how you can see it, listener, but I just want to get you amped up to see it when the time comes. So that's The Only Ones.
All right, and we'll be back next week, fulfilling our contractual agreement to always have at least one movie and listener submit it, have the word night in the title. So stay tuned for that.
Hi, listeners. I'm Carolina.
And I'm Tessa. And together we are Femme Regard Podcast.
Femme. We are a show dedicated to educating and entertaining underdeveloped filmmakers and film enthusiasts alike.
We love sharing our experiences as filmmakers, what we've learned and what we've gone through.
And we love bringing on professional industry guests.
We want our listeners to learn from the best and get an honest account of the biz.
So come join the Femme Fam and give us a listen every Friday.
Streaming on all the major podcast platforms, including YouTube and our website, femregard.com. And of course, the Geekscape Network.
We're making an ad.
Napping ad.
This is where I think if we're doing it right, Alec Baldwin comes in. He says a couple things. He listens to the podcast every week. Has he been canceled? Wait, is Alec Baldwin the one who killed somebody? I hear that Gary Sinise is free.
Oh, okay, great.
He hasn't worked since 2020.
So, what would be the script that we would have Gary Sinise say for the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast?
Listen to this damn show. Damn it.
The Napping Through Happy Hour podcast brought to you by Geekscape.
Real life, real drama, real time.
I'm Gary Sinise.
That's the ad. That's the ad. That's the ad.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.